Okay, Rob Gronkowski, the former Patriots player in the NFL, has come clean about his concussion history. He admits to having 20 concussions, including 5 that were blackout. This is concerning because of the CTE lawsuit and the bad optics that it gives the NFL. The NFL is not the only sport going through, or the only sports league going through the CTE lawsuit. There are athletes from other sports, from team sports through to individual sports like boxing to ice hockey, who are becoming plaintiffs in this case. It's a big case. It involves the NFL, the NHL. I believe rugby union, rugby league are going to have plaintiffs come forward and say, look, I've had a lot of concussions in my career. It's spreading. So professional contact sports are going to have to look at how they look after their talent. Be it individuals in boxing, which is a sport where you're paid to bash people in the head, through to American football and NHL, where it's a big contact sport, big collisions, players will get injured. It's not that the players admit that they won't get injured. They know that there is a chance they could get concussed, there's a chance they could break a leg, there's a chance they could, severely injure themselves. They know that. They are fully aware when they sign their contracts that they have to get insurance. They know about that. It's what happens when they retire. And the fact that a high-profile name in Rob Gronkowski has come out and said, yeah, I got concussed a lot and I played whilst concussed. It's not good for the NFL's look and image, considering that Andrew Luck about a month ago announced his retirement, and you've got to look at the injuries he played through, and they are shocking. If you look at his injury list, if you were to play with a lacerated spleen, damage to your liver, ligaments, torn muscles, all that, if you were to work through that at any job, or you got injured on the job with those injuries, you are due a large amount of compensation. This is the difference. Oh, they're high paid sporting athletes, they can deal with it. A lot of players in the NFL and NHL don't get paid stupid sums of money. Actually, their salaries are a hell of a lot lower. The league minimum is not as high as you think. The average salaries are decent, but that's bumped up by the top end talent. The majority of players, while they earn good money, it's nowhere near as high as you think. The league minimum salaries in the NHL is around $700,000 or something like that. NFL, I'm not certain, but I know it's, again, not very high if you think about it. And bearing in mind, medical bills and medical insurance, they cost money. Mortgages cost money. What happens to players when they retire? This is the big thing. And do they get an NFL, NHL, or NRL pension kind of thing? Because you have to play a minimum number of games to be eligible for those pensions. It is concerning. It's a big talking point. We're seeing high-profile athletes and sports stars in a variety of sports coming out and discussing concussion. It's not the only injury that is a serious one. You've got to look at the list of injuries that have ended careers, and the amount of surgeries they need post-retirement. Crikey, you just have to listen. Even soccer players, if you're American watching this, I think they're all pansies. Gabriel Batistuta had to retire because his ankles were so swollen that he couldn't make it to the toilet in the middle of the night. He would piss himself in bed. He even admitted to that. That's when he went, nah, I've had enough of playing football. I'm going to have to call it a day. I can't even walk to go to the toilet at night. I'm in agony. So it's how sports look after their ex-sports stars. They could be the highest paid, they could be the lowest paid. There is a massive issue, and that, I think, is the discussion point. I think this is where the CTE lawsuit comes into it, because players know they're going to get a concussion. The fact that Rob Gronkowski's interview doesn't paint the NFL and the Patriots in a good light, it's a PR nightmare for the NFL. It is a PR nightmare. What needs to happen is, on match days in some of these sports, instead of having the team doctor assess and the team physio assess a player, maybe it should be a fully independent medical team doing it, because clearly they want to have their players back out playing as soon as possible. If it's taken away to an independent panel that is employed by the league, maybe less concussions happen, less shoulder injuries happen, less back injuries, less muscular, less internal, because some players are playing on when they clearly shouldn't. And the concussions or the other injuries rack up. Now, Rob Gronkowski, the fact that he admitted to playing on whilst concussed is really deeply troubling. It says that the current system in place for head injury assessments in the NFL is not fit for purpose. If a player of his stature, can play on concussed and risk further serious injury or death, because a double concussion can kill, that tells you all you need to know. I bet you when he dies and he donates his brain, he's got CTE. It'll be interesting to see his mental health over, the next 20 years. and his physical health attached to that, so Parkinson's and dementia. I wouldn't be surprised if he has a higher chance of developing one of those nervous disorders towards the end of his life. But it's raised a debating point. The fact he's admitted to it is hit a player coming clean. He's retired now. He can say what he wants. He's no longer contracted to any team. But it's not a good look for the NFL considering the CTE lawsuit. We're not saying that players are, I'm not saying players aren't going to get concussed. It happens. It's how they're looked after, I think, is where so many high-profile sports leagues fall down and fail, and then and most players aren't paid as much as you think. The average salaries are seen as a couple of million because the top end talent earns stupid amounts, but it's the lower end talent, the guys who are the grunts on the team, the defense, whose careers aren't very long and they don't earn a lot of money and they're not looked after because you've got to play a minimum number of games to get a pension. So Rob Gronkowski's interview has really raised a lot of questions about the head injury assessment in the NFL and how, should it be in the hands of an independent medical team rather than the team's medical team to assess concussion and then rehabilitation of a player. That's where the question lies. Should team doctors be the ones in charge, or should it really be an independent team of doctors in charge of a player's well-being? But there we go. I'm going to leave that there. Place your comments below, and I'll have some more videos for you very, very soon.